Well, hello there. I would like to do this little scene for you today. I think it's in Italy somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. I got it off an Instagram account with their permission, of course. And yeah, I thought it was really nice. I like the curvature, the just that juxtaposition with all the straight lines versus the curvy lines. I think that's really nice. And I've drawn it up just without the parallax, just so your verticals are vertical, etc. So should be okay, but I've got it sitting here, the drawing, a little reference in the corner. Now, just organising my palette, and always just spray heaps of water everywhere. Get it nice and juicy, nice and wet. It's good. It's a very cool thing. Now, just getting some paints topped up. Some Mary Blue, which are bloody marvellous paints. I love them. All single pigment, a bit of neutral tint there, and that was a bit of sepia on that side. So everything else is alright. We've got some raw sienna, some dirt, no big deal. What I want to do is get some sky colour happening. Bit of sky. And I want to make it quite blue, because it'll be a nice little change. That's right, that can go straight across. It'll be a nice little contrast against the warm stuff underneath. So always good, just looking for that contrast all the time, really. It's the way to go. New brush I'm using here too. It's a Princeton Neptune, the Quill mop. Really nice. Really nice. Nice point. Nice point. It's very good. Now I'm just making sure that our sky is just going to blend in with no big fanciness. To blend in nice. You just want to make sure you want to work quickly enough so that you don't have any dodgy edges that are going to come back and bite you on the buttocks, because they will. They will bite, and it'll hurt. So if you take your time, just make sure it's quick enough. And you're being direct enough, you should be fine. Should be fine. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so sky's done. Sky is a dune. Let's have a look at a little bit of raw sienna. Just earthy colour. That's all I'm really looking at here. I want to get a nice bit of earthy stuff on there. Now, I don't mind if this all bleeds and blends into one another now. This is just an underneath bit of warmth. It really doesn't concern me too much about where this is going. This is just a really bright underneath wash, so don't panic, alright? Don't panic. Just get the washes on, a few random bits of stuff. If you get random bits of white showing, that's good. That's what it's all about. It's watercolour. It's watercolour, people, just to remind you. So embrace those things that watercolour gives us. Don't fight everything all the time, and you'll be right. That's just a bit of dirt from the palette down there just to neutralise that a little bit. Down the bottom, ground. Oop. Do you know what? Look, I splashed some yellow in the sky. You know what? I couldn't care less. It's fine. It's not what I wanted, but who cares? Doesn't matter. Keep painting. Worst thing I could do right now is to go and freak out and put heaps of water up there and try and wash it out. It's fine. Don't stress. A little bit of bluey sort of stuff. Why not? This will all be really quite strong over this side. Quite strong. But as long as we're making this initial wash really quite light and washy, dare I say, surprisingly enough, we should be okay. It shouldn't give us too much grief. Where you go wrong is to make this stage too strong, too heavy-handed, ham-fisted, all that sort of fun stuff. So that's really good fun. That's just sitting in there. These ochre colours are good. I'm just going to get a little bit more of the brighter raw sienna kind of colour up here. And I'm just letting it do its thing. I'm trying desperately not to be too careful and too boring and static. You don't even want to be static in your life or in your painting, mates. No. We paint and have fun. Paint like you want it to be, nice and expressive and fun. Not boring and stilted. That's not what we want. Well, it's certainly not what I want anyway. It might be exactly what you want. I don't know. Go for it. But I think most of us want to paint nice pictures. But I'm going to dry this off. And we'll see how it goes. See how my little bit of green sky turns out. Right, so that's nice. That's nice there. So looking okay. Yeah, I want to get this big cast shadow on the left. I want to get that in nice and early because we want to do a fair bit of work within the shadow once it's there. So if we get in there now with a nice warm grey, should be all right. So, I don't even know what that was. That's okay. So with this here, you want the paint to be quite transparent. Okay, so don't get sucked into going too strong with your shadow here. So this shadow does go all the way down over everything. So we need to be mindful of that, and that goes down into there, even up into there a little bit. I'm just gonna counter change, put things where, light over dark, dark over light, all that sort of stuff we'll get to. But with this, just want nice shadow. There we go. really like the shape of all of this. It's nice. But you've got to work quickly. You don't want outlines. You don't want outlines, absolutely not. Now you will notice here that there are less windows in this section that I'm painting right now. And that's because I just wanted to make more of the actual, what do you call it? What am I saying? I just wanted to make more of the archways down the bottom. Now, that's all fine. Now, I'm changing warm to cool everywhere here, and it's cool, it's good fun. Now, I'm going to try my best. I don't care if I lose a bit of it. I'm going to try my best just to paint around the shadows, around the figures a little bit. Can't speak today. Paint around the shadows just a little bit. Oh, I said it again, around the figures. Bloody hell. Just so we've got the option of making them a bit more dynamic or a bit less dynamic later on. Obviously these figures aren't in the actual reference, so it's a little bit tricky to know how to deal with them, but that's okay. Happy with all of that, and I've got some nice stuff happening there. Now, just having a look up here, there'll be a couple of little shadows going on up there and up here. Now I'm just putting these in now, nice and loose, just so that I don't forget about them later on. Where is my other brush that I wanted? Bet you it's falling down. Sorry, there it is, my pointy brush is good. Alright, let's just have a look there. Alright, so we don't want to mess it up too much. You just want to keep it nice and fresh. Don't mess around with it too much. Nice and direct. Yeah, let's have a look at this sepia. Yeah, I'm just going a bit stronger down the bottom there. And there's a nice shadow line across here, which is there. Yeah, that should be fine. Now on the right hand side, there's a few little bits that look a bit strange and a bit of a trick to the eye. So this bit here on this side wall, it's really quite blue when you have a look at it. It's obviously, in reality, it's white, but it's quite blue in that sort of light. So you've got to make sure that you capture that. Now, we're going into some quite warm shadows here on this side. Now it's going up. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just, obviously this goes out of the picture, so I'm Just making that bit up really, but it should be good. This is quite warm over here. Right, so hopefully by the time we get to putting the, well, details, for want of a better word, but the actual bits and pieces in, we should be okay. This is sort of a nice economical way to do it, you know? Just so that you don't have to spell everything out all the time. Remember, we're painting a picture. We're not copying. We're not a photocopier. We're not a fax machine. Now, all right. I need to go stronger here. I'm looking at this knowing that it needs to be stronger. So, just getting a little bit of neutral tint just into this general vicinity. Actually, I don't want to be too careful. I'll just, in general, just a bit stronger. There's so much water around here in this section that what I put on will look so much stronger right now because it's wet than it will once it dries. So don't panic, it's all good. Bit of water. Paint with flair and confidence. Just get stuck into it. All right, so I'm going to dry that off, and hopefully that'll leave you with a nice platform to come and build on. You know, you've got to start putting those details in. Whenever you're drawing a scene up, I'd really encourage you to simplify it as much as you can. So a scene like this, it's kind of tricky to simplify because there are a lot of little bits that are, you know, all over the place here. Lots of windows, little light fixtures, poles, and bloody little ropey bits and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot there. I get that. I get it. The thing is that there are people out there, this is what I really want to talk about. There are people out there I've discovered that are tracing their drawings. Like they're painting, but they're tracing the drawing. Like, what the hell? What is that about? I have no idea why you would do that, because all you're doing is you're setting yourself up to be a copycat. Like you're just copying the picture. Boring. It's not painterly. It's not artistic. It's a cop out, frankly. Learn to draw. Draw. Stop. You know, don't pussyfoot around. Just get stuck in. Perfection. If you want to be a photorealist, go and grab your iPhone, take some photos, and have at it. By all means. But when you're painting, geez, be a bit expressive. That's just my opinion, but I reserve the right to be correct. But no, it's a strange little discovery I've made recently. People bloody tracing. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Yeah. I just want to get these little bits in as quickly and as simply as possible. One thing I'm not worried about is I'm not worried about making everything bloody perfect. There's no such thing. Doesn't matter. Just paint your picture. Forget about perfection. You'll never attain it. it's just dumb. It's a dumb way to think. But anyway, paint expressive. Paint like a child, with the attitude of a child at least. You know, you may not want childlike results, but I always say, paint like a child paints. Just go for it. Who cares if it doesn't work out perfectly? Let's just get another piece of paper and do another one. God, when did we stop thinking like that? What happened? But anyway, I digress. Sorry for the rant. Freaks me out, that's all. Yeah, I'm just gotta be careful where you've got to be careful. That's all. But just make sure it's not everywhere. That's the bloody key. Is to not be careful in every single part of the picture. You know, some of these parts here I'll paint in positively instead of negatively, like these little white bits around the place. You know, this little arch that's behind that wall. Let's put that in somehow here. That's just with what I've mixed there is just a little bit of like a bluey with blue sort of paint with a bit of rubbish from the palette. And all it's doing is it's just giving us a little bit of difference, but if it's too much, always paint with a tissue in your hand and just dab it out. It doesn't have to be, you know, life-changing. Just chill. Okay, that's good. Let's go there. Yeah, these have got little what do you call it? Little louvers and things there. So that's fine. Put them in. There's darker sections between the windows or between the louvers. Too strong probably. That's good. Yep, happy with that. Make that a little bit darker on that inside. So I'm constantly just looking to see if anything needs sort of refining. It's not. It's kind of puts. It's too definite a word, refining. But what I mean is just things that you can embellish a little bit, just exaggerate. Yeah. A bit up there is good. Where are we? There's little bits. Just make up little aerials or something. Why not? Let's have a squeeze at this. Sometimes you can catch yourself maybe painting too quickly, like too carelessly. If you catch yourself, stop, take a breath, chill out, you'll be fine. And yeah, just reset, because it's fine. It happens. We all do it. Everybody does it. You just get carried away, and that can be good. But if you're finding yourself being a little bit careless, just chill. That's all. I don't know what that thing is up there, some ornamental rubbish. A couple of chimneys up there. What we've got on the right hand side is where they're at their darkest. But yeah, just embellish, put, little chimney, do heaps of stuff, whatever you want. No one's going to go and find this exact location, sorry to say, but they won't. And if they do, well, good on them. If things aren't exactly the same, who cares? That's a good thing about that attitude, the who cares attitude. It's great, it's liberating. You just don't bloody worry about it. Yeah, I'm trying my best to just put little indications of things in here. I don't want to spell things out too much because you do run the risk of just being too literal if you're not careful. There. Yeah. Just these little couple of brush strokes for those bloody shutters. Looks cool. I like it. That looks, those brush strokes for the shutters look 10 times better than if you colour it in and make them all perfect. Looks heaps better. Well, I think it does anyway. You might think I'm full of baloney. I do not care, because I like it. Da, da, da. Yeah, I've just got a bit of blue and a bit of brown in there just to mix in to form a little bit of a dark and a balcony or something. And I just don't want it to be, too careful. Really don't want to be careful with it. Shadow. Yeah. Curvature here. Just a few little lines. Yeah, that goes straight across there. And that starting to give us a little bit of volume in there as well. So that's cool. That's cool. We're getting there. Rough and ready. These sort of paintings that you kind of motor your way through usually turn out the best because you're not overthinking it. You're just going for it. And it's a great thing when it happens. Okay, cool. Let's go into the darks down here in these arches. Let's get these little archways established. So I'm going in there with I want to be pretty careful with these and make sure that they're vertical and all of that sort of stuff. But I'm going in there with just a dark brown. It's probably a bit of sepia or something in there. And I'll do the same. It's just brown rubbish, really. I'll do the same over this side. Yeah, that's okay. Just sort of careful roughly to get the shape right, that's all. Now, I want to go in there. I've got a bit of neutral tint here. Excuse me. Now I'm just going to feed little bits, the bead there. Just going to feed little bits of this thicker paint into these sort of doorway shapes. Oops, that's okay. In this case, there's definitely a door. That white bit underneath I don't really care about. But we can do something like that would be fine. Now this one over here is pretty much just black. So I'm just going in there. I don't want it to be just a solid black shape. I want there to be some kind of interest. Yeah, just lift little bits and a bit of water can just soften sort of paint just generally around the perimeter of it, and it softens up and gives us a nice little addition without having to, you know, spell it out. That's all. It's good. Yeah, it's just got little embellishments up here. Yes, nice. Cool. Happy there. Happy there. All right, that's okay. Now there's a couple of little dry brush sort of marks I want to get in over there. There. It just separates that a little bit. Just might get a glaze to strengthen it this bit in here later on. Definitely not yet, because I'm going to judge that when everything else is done. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to judge those sort of things too early. You want to make sure that everything's okay and it needs it. Because if you judge that now when not everything else is finished, you run the risk of it being unnecessary, firstly, but also and if you do things like that that are unnecessary, then all you're doing is losing freshness out of your paper and your painting. So take your time, be aware of those sort of things to look for, but don't automatically just go there without thinking about it a bit. There we go. There's a bit of that there. That's just a bit of paint, a bit of blue or something. Yeah, it's not really blue. It's okay. And what else we got up here? Oh, here we go. A bit darker on the edge. Oop, that's the wrong colour. Oopsie daisy. Let's see if I can just lift that off a bit. Go back, that's better. You want to keep that continuity if you can. Even though that primary blue might have looked okay, you want to try to keep the continuity and the colour harmony going if you can. It'll just look better. Get those in nice and rough and ready. Nice and rough. Same process. Let's get that. Got to remember this building, it's not too obvious yet. We'll have to do a bit more work on that. But this building goes all the way out of the picture down the bottom. It's not, doesn't cut off there. Keep little bits going. These separations, I think, are crucial with buildings and stuff like this. I think they add a really important part to the perspective of the whole thing. Let's do little lines, bits down here. And when this gets whacked in there properly, you'll see how it sort of pushes everything else back. And that's a really cool thing when that happens, because instantly you've got more depth. And this picture itself, like the reference itself, doesn't have a whole bunch of depth or anything. It's pretty tame. So what we're looking for is some character and, yeah, some depth. Hopefully we'll get it. Practice there, that's all right. Yep. Yeah. A few little dry brush, and see how I'm holding the brush sort of right at the end. I'm getting some nice loose marks because I don't have too much. I'm not overly controlling the brush. In fact, I didn't control it there at all, which I wanted to. But you know, you just be loose, be nice and loose with it all, and you'll get some great results. Bit of spatter. That's good. That's cool. All right. So we're kind of getting there. We can start to speed up a little bit. So there's a shirt. The shadow's going that way. So let's. You know, any little highlights and things you lose, you know, gouache will fix for us, which is good. What have we got here? Really loose. So put some blue in there again. That'll be okay. Red. I'm just trying to get some little bit of colouring in there to make it a bit nicer. And just little bits. It's fine. Good. Now we've got these little poles and things. That's cool. Getting there. Now I just want to strengthen this shadow. It's quite strong in reality, so I just want to strengthen it up, and that'll separate this building as well. So I'm going to do it roughly like that, approximately. And I'll put some like directional lines underneath that shadow once it's dried off. Yeah, I've got to strengthen it. It's going to weaken up too much again. It's got to be quite strong. I think. Yeah. Wow, there's lots of paint there. I didn't mean that much paint to go on, but that's okay. We'll just wash it out a bit with some water. See, whenever you stuff up, whenever you do something that you weren't planning on or it's not quite working out like you were hoping, the worst thing you can do is panic. Don't worry about it. Just let it be until it's sorted and you'll be okay. Everything, I promise you, everything will be alright. We're just painting. Don't stress, mate. Don't stress. Alright, we're getting there. I'm going to dry off because I need to get all the little fiddly bits in. So you can see that everything's dried off. That's all lovely. Need to wait for it to cool down a bit. There's not quite the separation here that I would have liked between there and there, but I think it'll be okay. I think we'll be right. What I want to do is, now this is kind of repairing rather than painting, which is not ideal, but I reckon if I just put a really light bluey kind of wash there, that will help. Just to be a bit stronger, a bit bluer up there. Now, I dried this area off a lot because I want to glaze over that and strengthen it up so that this shadow ends up being brighter. They're all just flat at the moment, so I don't want that. It's got to be stronger than that, but quite purple. Yeah, see how we go. Now, whenever you're glazing like this, the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to mess with the underneath wash too much at all. So you've got to be super direct, super quick, and that's it. You can see already the difference that just that little bit of glazing has had. That just made it still in shadow, and that'll calm down a little bit more when it's in the when it's dried off, lightened up. It'll lighten up and chill out a bit. That's good. So happy there. Look, strong. Yeah, just quickly. Now I always kind of like to finish pictures off with, you know, the 3-step process of dark accents, coloured accents, and highlights. So at this stage, I've just got a dark, sort of thicker paint on my brush, just not much of it on the brush, and I'm just going around looking at little dry brush embellishments that I can make. I don't want to do too much, just simple little touches if it needs it. Don't do things that it doesn't need. That's super important. Just little bits, mate. Over here. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. There's a street sign or something there. Nice and direct. Thicker paint. At this point, you should definitely be using thicker paint because that dry brush differentiates everything else that's been going on. So it's a really nice thing to do. So let's have a look at this. When you're doing this sort of stuff, just super confident. So all my students freak out when they don't practice their calligraphy. You have to practice your brushwork. So if you don't practice your brushwork, your paintings, it's going to take you longer because this is sort of stuff that's usually done at the very end of the picture. So you're going to get to a point where you go, oh, painting's really good, but the ending, I always stuff it up. It's only because you haven't practiced your calligraphy, which you need to do. You absolutely need to do. It's a must. Surprise, surprise. Yes, that's right. Practice is what makes us progress. How bizarre, what a concept, and all of that sort of stuff. Yeah. Didn't do that real straight, having said all that. That's okay. Lovely. Now, some directional lines. Let's do there. It just gives that ground a little bit more substance. Cool. Yeah. This light. Let's put this light in. Goes there somewhere. Go. Bit of spatter. That's just a bit of white paint. It'll dry up so light. So much lighter than it is there anyway. Great. Now, little highlights. Red, slaty. She's got a red thing on. That little sign's going to be red. What else? There's nothing there. Why not? Why not? There we go. I'm just mucking around here now. Just kill that little corner off. I'll just run some water. That'll run good. Okay. Another little bit of blue. I've got a scarf on. Go. And lastly, a couple of little white highlights. Where's my tube of white? There it is. Now this is just white watercolour paint. It's titanium white. So yeah, as usual, all the purists can go and freak out and clutch at their pearls and do all that stuff that they do. It's white paint. I mean, oh my God, shock horror. How terrible. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to dry that off and call it done. Done and done and done.